Welcome to the Influence and Impact Summit presented by Platform University.
Know that your story matters and that you have a message that the world needs to hear.
You can get your message to the end user now so much easier.
It can't just be about you. Influence is about others.
And again, it all goes down to serving your audience and making a true, real connection with them.
Hi, I'm Michael Hyatt. Welcome to the Influence and Impact Summit presented by Platform University. I'm here with my new friend, Carrie Green. In case you don't know her, Carrie is the founder of the Female Entrepreneur Association, which is an online hub with the mission of inspiring and empowering women from around the world to turn their ideas into reality. Incredible website. And help them build successful businesses and live a life they love. And I've asked Carrie to come and talk from her perspective on what it's taken for her to increase her influence, have greater impact, and just share her wisdom and insights with us. Carrie, welcome to the summit.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
Yeah, it's great to have you all the way from the UK, although the internet feels like we're next door.
I know. I love it.
For people who may not be familiar with you, could you just kind of start with, let's start with what you do today. What does your world look like, and what do you enjoy the most about what you do?
Oh, blimey. What do I do today? Well, like you said, I run the Female Entrepreneur Association, which is an online network to inspire and empower women, like you said. I started it because I felt so isolated building my first business, and it's just the best thing ever because I get to connect with these amazing people that inspire me all the time, and I get to run a business from my laptop and travel around the world and meet amazing people and speak to people like you. So that is what excites me about this, and I love how the online world has made it all possible.
So just it sounds like the freedom is a huge motivating factor for you.
Yes, definitely. I started my first business because I just thought I want to be able to have the freedom to do what I want, to go and travel around, to just experience amazing things and, I don't know, push the possibilities. And the online world allows you to do that so well.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, you haven't always been in this place, obviously, and I was reading your About page before we started here, and I would love for you to just go back to the beginning and talk about the very beginning and how you got started on this path.
So when I was 20 and I was at university studying for a law degree, and I basically ran out of money, so an opportunity came up to start a business and I grabbed it. I thought, this is going to be great. I get to explore this new area. I had no idea what I was doing. Literally no idea whatsoever, and I had obviously no money, and I got started with a website. I asked loads of people how to get started in business, so I put a website together, and then I asked, well, how do I get this out there? So someone told me about Google AdWords, and then I just got it out there and I started testing things. I read business books, I went to night school to learn about web development, so I built this big business, and when I graduated it was really successful, so I decided that I wanted to carry on being an entrepreneur, and very quickly found myself feeling really isolated, running my business from my spare bedroom. There'd be days where, or there'd be times where I wouldn't leave the house for like 3 days in a row, and I just felt like I was going insane, and those doubts creep in because it's hard, and you have moments where you feel so confused and it's chaotic, and when you're by yourself you can really get into your own head with it, and that's what I did. Started to feel like I was going off track, and then went through a phase of just soul searching, and then in 2011 I was rereading the E-Myth by Michael Gerber and read his chapter on primary aims, where he basically talks about, imagine it's your funeral, and what do you want people to be saying about the kind of life that you lived and the kind of things you achieved. And I remember thinking, oh my gosh, I have never really considered this properly. I just, thought, set up a business and do this. I never thought about what I wanted, and I definitely didn't want to be remembered for what I was doing at the time. Like, it was a great business, but it was boring. So it got me thinking about everything and how I felt so lonely and how I loved to inspire people, and the Female Entrepreneur Association was born.
That's amazing. So did you get your law degree, or did you ever practice law?
I didn't. I decided that being an entrepreneur was going to be more fun than being a lawyer. So I didn't actually, I got my degree, but I didn't continue to practice. I went off on my online business, and that's what I did.
Does that help you from time to time to have that legal background?
Yes, 100%.
I'll bet. Yes, it's interesting how every online entrepreneur I've talked with, they've been able to fold in what they learned before, so it's not like it's a complete, 180. but they take what they learn and they apply it in a new context. So that's awesome.
Yeah.
Carrie, if someone were to look at your About page, they would see that you're offering all kinds of resources. I was really amazed. But you've got, I'm just looking at the list here, weekly videos, you've got a podcast, a members club, master classes, and more. But of everything that you have right now, what is proving to have the greatest impact in terms of building your platform the most?
100% hands down video. Video has been one of the most powerful things I have ever done, in the way that it allows me to kind of get myself out there, get my message out there, and for people to see me and to hear me and to know what I'm like as a person, and to build that authority and that credibility. So from that perspective, it's been phenomenal. You know, when you can be at an event and someone comes over to you and they actually know who you are and they're excited to meet you, that's when you know that doing videos all those years, even when you weren't necessarily getting that many views, it is powerful. And from doing those videos, it's opened the doors to so many opportunities. And I've done 2 TEDx talks now. Both of those opportunities came about because the organisers stumbled across my videos on YouTube. And one of those videos has had over 1 million views now. And that is amazing. That the opportunities that's come with that opportunity in itself has been phenomenal. So hands down video, because it gets you out there and gives you the ability to build a relationship with your audience in such a powerful way.
Yeah, I found that it's powerful too, because people get to experience more of who you are. It's not just the printed word, or it's not just your voice in their earbuds, but they can see you, and it makes you more three-dimensional. But I want you to go back to when you first started on video, because I can imagine that people are watching this and going, oh my gosh, I'm scared to death of video. I don't like the way I look on camera. I'm not sure what I would say. I get very nervous when I do that. What was it like for you when you first started?
I remember just feeling like I had no idea what I was doing, feeling really stiff. I didn't know how to talk to the camera and be myself. It felt like I was just like a robot sat there, so straight and upright. But I just kind of thought, you know, when you start with anything in business, you never know how to do what you need to do, because you've never done it before. So I just kind of took the approach like I'd taken to everything else, is just try it, put it out there. And so I did, and the first few videos were horrendous. They were horrendous. I think it took me a long time actually to get used to doing videos and to be comfortable chatting in front of the camera by myself, because it's just the most unnatural thing ever. But it was really just practice. I remember when I put my first video out there and I hit send on the email, it probably took me about an hour to hit the send button, because I was so terrified. I thought, these people are going to think I'm such an idiot. Like, I'm just sat here and talking away. But I put it out there, and I think when you do that and you kind of, you show that vulnerability, people respond and people like it. And, you know, even though it's not perfect, I think that it gives people that, you know, the sense that you're not perfect. You have faults. You make mistakes, and you've got to get better at things. And so I think it's reassuring for everyone else to know that. So
I think that's so critical. One of the things that I've been working on is I've been using Periscope. Have you tried Periscope at all?
Yeah, I love it.
And so I'm doing a daily show now, and the thing that I've loved about it is it's caused me to get more comfortable with video and be better on my feet. And just to your point, to realize that being perfect is not the goal. Being authentic is the goal, and when you can be authentic, it builds trust, and that's really the foundation for building a large platform, and especially selling stuff to people and really being able to help them at that level.
Couldn't agree more.
Yeah. So at the very beginning, when you were doing video, was it like you in a webcam, or did you have a 3-camera shoot and a full video crew, or how did you start?
It was me with my webcam, my little laptop. For me, though, my brother is a photographer, so there was a few occasions where I got him out and about. We did shoots on the go. Really bad audio. The wind was like blowing, and you could barely hear me, and the lighting was horrendous. But yeah, at the beginning it was just really basic. But to be fair, though, even now, I like, you know, at the beginning I would stack my laptop on boxes, and I say that now, my laptop is stacked on a box to like get it into a right position, and I think that's fine, and that's what I was doing from the beginning, and it works. So it doesn't have to be fancy, really. As long as you do a good job with it, you know, whatever works, just try it, just give it a go.
You know, the key takeaway that I take from that, Carrie, is don't overthink it. You know, use what you have. It's more important to get out there and begin the process of learning than it is to wait, you know, until you can hire a crew or you can make it more professional. And I totally agree with you. I think still to this day, some of the most effective things I do are the things that I do on the fly or looking at the webcam or using my iPhone or whatever.
Yeah, definitely.
So as you were beginning to build your platform, and I think a lot of people kind of fall prey to what I call the field of dreams strategy, which is build it and they will come. Mm-hmm. And I think for anybody who's ever tried that, that usually doesn't work very well. You know, people don't come. Yeah. But for you, what were some of the key strategies that you used to get the word out about your association and how people could participate?
I've always kept it really simple, and for me it's always been about being really clear on what my core message was, what my mission was, what I was really trying to do, what I was so passionate about, and then being really clear on who my audience were, and then everything that I did, every post that I put out there, it had to align with my message and it had to resonate and connect with my audience. And then I just set about to go above and beyond to add insane amounts of value, to connect with people, to go network. I network like a crazy person. I got myself out there. I interviewed people. I asked other people if they wanted to share their story. I started to do the video posts and did that once a week, and just kind of put that out there and kept putting that out there. And I think consistency really has been the key. Just adding value consistently, that's all you can do. And that's, to me, building an audience is simple, because if you keep doing that and you can put yourself in front of your audience, and obviously there are so many different ways to go about that, and everyone's business is different, so what works for my business might not work for everyone else's. For me, I kept it simple by focusing on Facebook, because I looked around at the time and I thought Facebook was the best platform for me, and I went all out to be the best I could be at Facebook, which is what got me 240,000 plus fans on Facebook, because I decided that I wanted to be great at it. I didn't want to be mediocre at everything. I wanted to be great at Facebook. And then I put myself out there. I use Facebook ads. I leverage Facebook ads like crazy even now, because it gets me in front of my audience. So that was really the key for me, is know what your message is, know who your audience are, add ridiculous amounts of value, go above and beyond to delight them, and put yourself in front of them so they actually get delighted by you. And that's the simple strategy I have always followed.
Okay, I just want to recap that because that was really good. So create content that really wows people. And I think you would agree with this too, although I don't think you quite shared it this way, but create content that's worth sharing, that people want to give away and share with their friends and associates. And then pick a social media channel. I love this this idea. Pick one and get really good at it. I think sometimes people feel like they've got to be everywhere on every social media channel. What is your advice on that? What do you think about that strategy?
For me, I just think that it's better to focus on getting really good on one than trying to be, otherwise it's just, business is overwhelming and chaotic enough as it is. So when you're trying to be good at Facebook, you're trying to be good at Twitter, you're trying to be good at Instagram and Pinterest and Periscope, it's just too much. It's too much, and I'd go crazy. So that's why I just thought, keep it simple. Keep it simple. I know I can, if I focus on doing one thing at a time, I can become really good. And this is a really silly example, but when I was younger, I was learning to play the clarinet. And I also wanted to play the saxophone and the piano. But I had to put that aside and think, I had to focus on being really good at the clarinet first. And I think it's the same in business. It's the same, focus on one thing, get really good at it, and then you will become really good at it. So just assess what platform is going to be best for your business and focus on being amazing at that. I think that's
fantastic advice. What about the technology? Did you ever get intimidated by the technology? Did that ever become challenging?
I can't tell you how many days I had where I literally just felt like my brain was going to explode because I just didn't know how to do what I needed to do. I think technology is really overwhelming, and even now I'm on Snapchat and I'm like, I just don't understand how this works. But it just is patience, isn't it? Just learning. And that's the best thing about the internet, is that there's so much information out there to help us now. And I think just Google it. If I don't know how to do it, just Google it. Watch a YouTube tutorial and go and find someone who's teaching how to do it. And that's all I've done is, when I started my business, I had no idea what I was doing. So the only option I had was to go and ask for help, and that's what I did.
Yeah, I think there's a really good lesson there, because I think so much of that battle, that technology impediment, is in our heads. And if we will just start and, like you said, Google it, watch a YouTube how-to video, the information's out there and people can really make it simple for you. And it does seem like the tools are getting easier and easier. It's a lot easier today, probably in 2015 than it was in 2011 when you began. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, definitely. Definitely.
Yeah. Great. Okay, so I want you to imagine you were sitting down with somebody who's in this audience, and they could have a one-on-one session with you, and they were really honest, and they just said, you know, I'm kind of afraid. You know, I'm not sure I've really got anything to say, and if I do, I'm not sure who would listen. Where do I start? What are the 2 or 3 things that if you, based on what you know now, especially, that you probably didn't know back in 2011, but based on what you know now, what would you say to that person? Where do they need to focus? What are the first few things that they need to do?
The first thing I would say is not to do with the skill and the how-to. It's really about conditioning yourself for success, because I always say, like, success is not an accident. You have to do it on purpose, and I think it's an internal thing. It starts internally with, we all have these fears, and it's really overwhelming, and it just can be crazy building a business. And I think you have to focus on training your brain first to get you to this place where you realize you can do it, you can put yourself out there. So that would be the first thing. And the second thing would be to practical steps. Get really clear on what your message is, what's really at the heart and soul of your business. Get super clear on who your audience are, like, who are they? How do they feel? Like, and how can you go above and beyond to delight them? And then just set about to make it simple for yourself. Create an editorial calendar, brainstorm ideas, just get it all out of your head and just write down how you can have an impact, how you can add value to them, and just put yourself out there. Put yourself out there, do video or organize hangouts. And I feel like those 2 things are really key things in terms of building authority fast, because I don't know the last time I ever went on a webinar and I didn't think the person I was listening to was in a bigger position of authority than I am in. So it instantly creates that authority and credibility. So I just do that and put your message out there in any way you can and just go for it. You have to just keep on going, keep on going, keep on going, and know that it takes time. Like, it really does take time. So even the days when you're putting stuff out there and no one's reading your stuff and no one's commenting on it, you think this is pointless, I don't want to do this anymore, you have to keep going, because that's exactly what I did. When no one was interested in it, I just kept going.
Yeah, that's good. So for you, like, if this person were saying to you, okay, I get that, that's hugely helpful, but I still feel afraid. How do you still deal with fear yourself? And if you do, I'm assuming you do, because I do, what are your favorite hacks for dealing with it? What do you say to yourself? How do you get past it so you can move forward?
I feel the fear all the time, because as an entrepreneur, I don't think that ever ends, because, like, you're always trying to do something you don't know how to do. You're always pushing yourself outside of your comfort zone. And for me, it's all about mindset. Like I said before, when I started FEA, I went on this mission success where I was trying to condition myself for success. I remember reading a quote that Anthony Robbins said, that your destiny is determined by the choices you make. Choose now, choose well. And when fear comes into the picture, as it always does, you have a choice to make. It's like, do I let this fear hold me back, or do I just go for it anyway? And there's so many things that have terrified the wits out of me, but I just thought, I have to do it. And this is really a bit bizarre thing that I do. I just realized that we're on this planet that is tiny in the middle of this whole universe, and it just makes me realize how insignificant things are. And that might be a silly thing to think, but it's true. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You just have to do it, and you just get one life, and you have to act accordingly. And for me, that bigger picture stuff of, you know, of how insignificant really everything really is, it's about, like, just being the best you can be, putting yourself out there, even if it terrifies you. And for me, that's what helps me to push on forward and keep going. And that's totally a mindset thing. And that's why I think mindset is just so unbelievably important in business to achieve anything, really.
I find, too, that the more I practice, the easier it gets. Like, even when I do Periscope on a daily basis, I'm always a little bit scared right before I push the start broadcast button. But I've got enough confidence built up from doing it. I mean, I was terrified at the beginning, and now I'm just scared. So, you know, I'm improving. But I've got the confidence to push the start broadcast button, and I do think it gets easier over time.
Yeah, definitely. But I just have to, I don't know, for me, I do visualizations all the time. If I'm doing something, if I've got a talk coming up, if I've got something really big I want to achieve that's terrifying me, I just use guided visualizations to, like, help me to calm down and program myself and realize that I can do it. And for me, that's a massive thing.
Yeah, I find that people are visualizing all the time. and most of us are visualizing a negative outcome instead of a positive outcome. So, much better to direct it towards a positive outcome, I think. As you look forward to the future with the Female Entrepreneur Association, and if I were your fairy godmother and could wave a magic wand and give you what you wanted, what is your hope that would become?
For me, it's always been about being able to help as many people as possible. So that was always my number one goal. How can I get this out there and reach as many people as possible? If you could wave a magic wand and help me to have a really successful book launch, then that would be amazing. So I just always try to try new things to expand the network and just to get it out there more. Because, like I said, I started it because I wanted to inspire and empower people. That is the goal, and that's what I want to keep on doing.
Okay, we got to talk about the book. So you've got a book that you're working on?
Yes.
And when does it come out?
I think it's going to be out next September.
And do you have a title?
I do, but I have some issues around it, so I'm not 100% certain yet.
What's it about? Can we ask you that?
It's just going to be about kind of everything I talk about. I think the honest truth about being an entrepreneur, the fact that as an entrepreneur, it's like being on a roller coaster ride in the dark. There are so many ups and downs, and most of the time we all feel like we're crazy people. It's chaotic, it's messy, and it's exciting and exhilarating and scary as hell. And I feel like the more we can talk about this and really bring that honest perspective, the more it makes you feel like you read something like that. You think, oh my gosh, I'm normal. Phew, that other person thinks it too. For example, I watched you on a Periscope, and I heard you say about how you get scared doing them, and it instantly made me feel better. I was like, well, if Michael Hyatt gets scared, then it's okay for me to get scared. And that's the thing. So it's just kind of a collection of different tips and advice, but like a really honest perspective of what it's really like, but in an inspiring way.
Yeah, that sounds fantastic. I'll tell you this. Will this be your first book?
Yeah.
Of course, I come from the book publishing world, so you would expect me to say this, but I don't think anything can change the trajectory of your career and your business like a published book. It gives you enormous authority and will enable you to connect with people that frankly won't connect with your website at first, but will find you after they find the book. So all the best with that. That sounds like a terrific book, and I just think the gift of telling people they're not alone is huge.
Yeah. So I'm excited about it.
Oh, great. Well, Carrie, thank you so much for sharing with us at the summit. This has been fantastic. I know those of you that are watching are going to want to connect with Carrie, and especially those of you that are females that want to feel some special support. You can find out more about Carrie and her work at FemaleEntrepreneurAssociation.com. Did I get that right?
Yeah.
Okay, good. And I'm sure that for those of you that are listening too, there's probably somebody that you're thinking of right now that you'd like to share this interview with, and all the interviews that we're doing with the summit. And I just want to encourage you to hit one of the share buttons on this page and get the word out. Help us do that. And by the way, we're giving away 3 memberships to Platform University, and the more you share, the more opportunity you have to win one of those memberships. So Carrie, again, thank you so much. It's great to meet you. I hope we have a chance to connect in the future.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me here.
All the best. Welcome to the Influence and Impact Summit presented by Platform University.
Know that your story matters and that you have a message that the world needs to hear.
You can get your message to the end user now so much easier.
It can't just be about you. Influence is about others.
And again, it all goes down to serving your audience and making a true, real connection with them.